Hello everyone, Silent here. Welcome back to another tutorial. Today we have a reasonably simple, very efficient blaze and blaze rod farm for your Minecraft world and Minecraft Better Together Bedrock Edition and or Pocket Edition, whatever you want to call it. This does not work on Console Edition and it does not work on Java Edition because of a few quirks over there. And yeah, let's get to it. So ignore this farm being in the overworld. This is simply a much nicer place to record than the Nether. And yeah, let's take a look at a few design features and a few decisions that went into making this farm. The first thing that I wanted when it came to designing a blaze farm was no shenanigans. So that means no minecarts, mainly because minecarts are usually very slow. They're a little bit shoddy with being deleted on chunk borders, and they get broken by blaze fireballs. And yeah, just a lot of reasons and a lot of very good reasons actually to not use minecarts in your blaze farm. And the second thing that I wanted is to not rely on any sort of blaze pathfinding. So that means that basically we have to use piston pushing lines, and these actually work very well. If we spawn in a few blazes all over, you can see that they all get pushed to the kill chamber extremely quickly. And actually, no matter where a blaze spawns in this farm, it's going to get pushed to the kill chamber within about 6 to 7 seconds, which is actually very good. And then there's also a automatic crusher down here, so if we just flick this lever here, that's going to block off any new blazes from coming down. And then we can press this button here. That's going to crush all the blazes to one hit with whatever your preferred weapon is. Anything from a wooden sword to splash potion of instant damage all the way up to fully enchanted diamond sword. Now there is one slight flaw with this design, and this actually has to do with Better Together or Bedrock Edition being kind of weird, and also the fact that it's closed off. But sometimes, as you can see, the blazes like to pathfind against the pistons. That's perfectly fine. He'll change his mind within about a minute or so, or he'll get pushed along by another blaze. But as you can see, if we open up the gate down there, he'll get pushed in pretty quickly. Alright, so before we get to the materials needed and then the tutorial, if you guys could please leave a like on the video, that'd be very much appreciated, as it really does help out the channel a lot, and the video and everything else, and maybe even consider subscribing if you guys are new here. Alrighty, with all that stuff out of the way, let's get to it. So the materials that you will need to build this farm are the contents of this shulker box here. Please note that most of these are approximate. I did not go through and count everything. You're going to need about this many resources to build your farm. So you're going to need 4 stacks of blocks to build it up. If you want to be able to see into your farm, then you're also going to need about 4 stacks of glass. If you don't care for seeing into it, then first of all, you're weird, and second of all, you're just going to need another 4 stacks of building blocks. You're also going to need about a stack and 14 of pistons, about a stack and 48 of string, and 22 tripwire hooks, 2 redstone torches, 2 stacks of redstone dust, up to 6 comparators depending on your weapon of choice. You're also going to need about 16 repeaters, 1 wooden trapdoor, 3 carpets, 3 stairs, 1 wooden button, a lever, 2 chests, 3 hoppers, and 6 sticky pistons. Alright, so we will be doing the tutorial in the overworld simply because it's going to make for a nicer video. There is nothing different with the farm if you build it in the overworld. It's just much nicer for video. Anyway, so the first thing that you want to do is disable your spawner. So basically go out by 4 blocks on every side of your spawner and then torch spam everything in the area, and that will prevent all of the spawning of blazes from your spawner. You then want to do a lot of digging. You need to go down by 16 blocks below your spawner, and down here is where you're going to be standing to kill your blazes. Your blazes are going to be sitting right in this area, ready to be killed, and yeah, it's going to be perfect. Alrighty, so the next thing that you need to do is decide where the front of your farm is going to be, where you're going to be coming into your farm from. So we're going to say that the front of the farm is over in this direction by that failed project over there. And yeah, so basically go down by 1 block on the opposite wings from one another, and then you want to start putting in your piston pushing lines. So basically you need 1 line of pistons right here, and this is going to be 9 long. So we're going to go out by 4 on that side and 4 on this side as well. You then want another line of pistons right here behind this block. So you're going to need to remove this block in order to place in that piston right there. And if you can place it in, there we go. So yeah, of course, go out by 4 to the side and 4 to the other side as well, kind of like so. And then you want to start putting in your other lines of pistons as well. So you need to go down by 2 blocks and then forward by 1, and that is where your next line of pistons goes in. And then do the same thing one more time, down by 2, forward by 1, and that is where your next line of pistons goes in. Of course, you want these to all be 9 long. Alrighty, so you need to build that up on the other side as well. So you should end up with a layout that looks exactly like this, 4 sets of pistons on either side, and they're all lined up at the same level. Alrighty, so on your 4th set, the very bottom one, you want to go down by another 2 blocks and forward again by 1, and these can just be solid blocks of your choice, and of course you want those to be 9 blocks long. Alrighty, now it's time to put in the layout for your final pistons. You need 3 more sets of pistons to push your blazes into your kill chamber. So you want a temporary block on the edge of that one right there, words are hard, and then place a piston on the side of that, go down by another 2 blocks, a piston on the front of that, remove those blocks, down by another 2 blocks, a piston on the front of that, and that is the complete layout for your farm and all the infrastructure done. Now it is time to place in all of your tripwire hooks. So starting with the 3rd row up, you want string on top of every single piston here, and then you want to go out by 2 blocks on the very end. So 1 and 2, remove that one and place in your tripwire hook. You then want to do that on this side as well. 1 and 2, remove that block, tripwire hook. Alrighty, so you want to do that same process for this line of pistons, this line, that line, and then these 3 lines as well. You should end up with a layout that looks a little bit like this. Tripwires on top of these 3 rows of pistons, and then you also want a tripwire on top of the bottom row of blocks right here. Alrighty, so now it is time to put in all of your redstone spaghetti. This is the front of the farm over here. We're going to be putting in all the redstone spaghetti on the left side. You can have the redstone spaghetti on the right side if you'd like, but we're going to be doing the left side. Alrighty, so the first thing you need to do is put in a row of blocks behind all of your pistons. And anything that we do to this set of pistons right here, we're going to be doing to all of the sets of pistons, all of these 8 sets right here. So you need a line of blocks behind your pistons, redstone on top of all of those blocks, and then you want to go out by 2 blocks from your tripwire hook right there, and another block along like that, and then just redstone dust on top of all of that. Alrighty, so yeah, do that to all of your sets of pistons right here. The only thing that's going to be different for these bottom rows is that you're actually going to want a repeater right underneath this tripwire hook right here, as to not activate both of these lines of pistons from the one tripwire hook. So yeah, that is literally the only thing that is different. And just do this to all of your sets of pistons, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, all the redstone is now in. It's all looking proper and al dente. And now what you can do is test out the farm yourself. So basically stand on the top piston, walk forward, and you should end up down here on this piston right here. And you can do that on both sides as well, just to make sure that you did all the redstone right. You didn't miss any anywhere. And yeah, there you go. Another thing you could try and do is throw an item right there and then see if all the pistons activate, but you shouldn't need to do that much testing. It's very, very simple. Alrighty, so now what you want to do is actually disable all of these. So basically remove this redstone dust right here, and that's just so that you can actually walk around your farm and not get pushed all the way down every time you try to walk somewhere. It's a good idea. Make sure you do that. You'll re-enable that later. That is all the redstone and all the infrastructure in for the top part of the farm, besides of course the walls and the extra blocks around it. We'll get to that a little bit later. We're just worried about the infrastructure and redstone right now. So we're gonna head down to the bottom set of pistons, your 3 rows of pistons right here. And now what it's time to do is put in the tripwire hooks. So for this one, it is very simple, just a basic tripwire hook. So go out by 2 blocks and up by 1, and then place in your hooks on these blocks and a string on top of that one. And this tripwire here is going to activate that piston. Alrighty, so then once you get down to the bottom, it's a little bit more complicated and a little bit silly. So you need to go out and place blocks in all of these locations. So go out by 2, basic tripwire right here to activate that piston. And then once you get to here, it's a little bit different. So you need to go out by 1 extra block on the forward part. So that is a total of 2 string right there. Alrighty, and this tripwire here is going to activate that piston right there. A little bit different. You'll see why here in a minute. And yeah, do that on both sides, of course. Alright, so now it's time to do the activation circuit for your bottom 3 pistons. And this is basically the same for every one. So we're going to start off with the top one. And of course, you have to do this on both sides. It's simply mirrored. So this is the top tripwire hook right here. You want a redstone dust on top of that. And then you want to go forward by 2 blocks. And then 1 block up, you can remove that block, and place a repeater going into that piston right there. You need a repeater so that this tripwire hook doesn't power that in case you put a redstone dust there. And then you basically need to do the same thing for this one. So redstone dust right there, forward by 2 blocks, up by 1, remove that one, and then repeater going into there. And then for this one, it's a little bit different. You need a block right here, and then redstone dust underneath of this tripwire hook right there, and then 2 blocks along, 1 block up, remove the temporary one, and then a repeater going into that piston. And we have to do this one a little bit different just so that your blazes can't escape from your farm. And like I said, of course, do this on both sides. Okay, one thing that's very important to note is that your extended tripwire and this redstone dust line needs to be on the front of the farm. Otherwise, it's going to mess up your crusher that's going to be going in the back. So just make sure that all this stuff is on the front side of your farm over here. Alrighty, so all the redstone is now in, and now what you can do is test it. So again, just walk forward, and that should push you all the way down to the bottom. You can do that on both sides, and honestly, this is kind of fun. And yeah, there you go. That is your redstone done. Alright, so swing around to the front side of your farm now, and you want to go directly underneath your mob spawner. This block is directly underneath the mob spawner and also lined up with all of these pistons right here. So go down and dig down by 2 blocks, put in a chest, a hopper right there, hopper on the side of that, and hopper on the other side of that as well. And that should also be lined up with your farm and lined up with your spawner up there as well. Alrighty, so you want to go up by 2 blocks right here and then place in a wall of 6 sticky pistons, kind of like that. You want solid blocks on the front of the bottom pistons and then glass on the top pistons like that. From here, you want to build up this L shape on the right side with a lever on this block and a wooden button on this block. And then you're going to be building up the redstone for your crusher circuit. So you want to make a platform that big, and then a redstone dust right there, 3 comparators going along that way, another redstone dust, and then 3 more comparators going back the other way, going into a block. And then you want to come around to your piston wall right here, place 3 blocks underneath the bottom pistons, and then a 2x3 platform of blocks right there. Repeaters going into all the bottom ones with redstone dust behind them. You then want a block right here, a block up, and another block right there, a repeater going into that block, and then a redstone dust right there. And that is your entire crusher circuit done. And yeah, there you go. You can see that it works just fine. Time to finish up the rest of the crusher. So behind this lever right here, you want to place a redstone torch in with a block on the front of it and a block on top of it. You then want a repeater on that block right there, going into a block up with a redstone torch on it. You then want some more blocks on top of that and on the side of it right there, and then 3 blocks behind these pistons and redstone dust on top of all of those blocks like that. And that is that simple. Alrighty, so then what you do is you flick the lever. That's going to block off any new blazes from coming into your farm. You can then press the button, and it's going to crush all your current blazes. After those blocks retract is when you can then smack them with your sword, kill them all in one hit, or throw a splash potion on them, and then they all die at the same time, and it's beautiful. Alright, so now it's time to actually fill in all the blocks around here to keep your blazes from going anywhere. So you want blocks around here, back there, and then you want blocks on that side, up by 1 on both of these, and then you want blocks in all of these locations as well, just like so. Now what you want to do is place in a stair right there, a stair right there, a stair upside down right there so that you can still access that chest, and then a trap door right there. And then of course fill in these blocks up here, fill in those ones, and then we'll fill in the rest here in a minute. Mobs on Better Together or Bedrock Edition love to be Houdini and escape from places. So what you're actually gonna want to do is fill in all of these blocks back here, fill in all of these ones, and fill in the front a little bit more as well if you're playing on Bedrock Edition. Because if you AFK at this for a very long time, like 2 hours or so, and you get about 150 blazes or even more in there, sometimes they will leak out if you go to use the crushers. So keep that in mind if you are playing on Better Together. Be prepared for blazes to maybe spill out of your farm if you have a butt ton in there. There's actually a few more blocks that you should fill in regardless of what platform you're playing on. So you want to fill in all the blocks behind your hoppers back there. You also want to fill in all these blocks over here just as much as you can, and then fill in these ones and also these ones over here. And that's just going to prevent any accidents from happening, hopefully. Now it's time to put in all of your glass walls going around the farm. So we're going to start on the bottom layer and work our way up. Anything I do to this side, you need to do to this side as well. So you need blocks underneath these tripwire hooks right here. You then need blocks going all the way around them and fill in all of this stuff, and that up there, and then that up there as well. Alrighty, so then areas like this where you can see out of the farm, you want to make sure that you fill in as well. So just blocks like that, because you don't want to be able to see directly into your farm, because then you could aggro your blazes, and you really don't want to do that, because then they're going to start shooting fireballs everywhere and it's not going to be a good time. So even stuff like this, you got to hide that, and I'll leave it up to you guys how to prettify this farm and make it look proper, because I'm not the best at decorating. I'm just going to show you what the bare minimum is. Anyway, so there you go. You guys can figure out how to do this side as well. Not too difficult at all. Alrighty, so now it is time for the top layer, and this is significantly easier. So basically start from the bottom going up. So just place glass on top of all of these blocks here, and then basically, yeah, just fill it all in. You guys know the deal. Make sure that you can't see into this farm. Make sure that they can't see out of it, and it is very, very simple. So bring it up all the way 2 blocks above your spawner, and that should be 2 blocks above these pistons as well. And here is the farm in its final form with all the blocks on it everywhere that you need a block in order to not be able to see into the farm and not aggro any blazes. You can rewind or pause to make sure that you got everything in order. Let's head inside the farm now, and you can see that everything in here is proper. All the paths for the blazes are perfectly fine and open. Alrighty. So there are just a couple more things that you need to do with this farm. First of all, you need to add in all of your redstone dust again to activate your farm. You then need to head down to the bottom here and place some carpets on top of your hoppers so that your XP orbs don't get stuck on or stuck inside of your hoppers. Alrighty, almost done. So now it is time to go inside of your farm and remove the arms that you put on your spawner and all the torches in here. That's going to activate your farm, so you should probably get out of there as soon as possible. So one final note for Bedrock Edition is that you need to stand within this 5x3 area to activate your blaze spawner. And if you're not standing in this area, then it's not going to be active. So yeah, just make sure you stand in like right here or something. Actually, I totally lied. There's one final thing that you need to do, and that is put 2 glass blocks on top of your blaze spawner so that no blazes spawn up there and then never despawn. Jeez, so many things to do with this farm. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do leave a like on it and maybe get subscribed to the channel, as we are growing fast and we would love to have you join our community. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do leave them down in the comment section, and I will try and help you out as best as I can. Anyway, I'll see you guys down in the comments and in the next video. Thank you for watching, and then there was silence.